Greetings! Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times for Thursday, January 20, 2022. For today's editorial, an inexcusable Senate failure. In yesterday's editorial, we questioned the priorities of Congress for the last few days of the legislative session as described by Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon, whose list of measures he considers important do not include the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. Even if the Senate were to have a change of heart, however, and swiftly correct this oversight, it has already committed another inexcusable failure that cannot be fixed before next year. And this one has a direct impact on the Philippines' ability to protect itself from the current and potential future pandemics. During his State of the Nation address last July, President Rodrigo Duterte, with the experience of the difficult first few months of obtaining and rolling out coronavirus vaccines still very fresh in everyone's minds, called for the creation of public entities dedicated to managing emerging and re-emerging diseases, more particularly something that would be properly equipped and manned to research and produce our own vaccines. As an official of the Department of Science and Technology explained, the absence of a virology research institute is one of the reasons we struggle with our pandemic responses, whether coming from viruses affecting humans like COVID-19 or dengue, or viruses that affect our livestock like the African swine fever, or viruses that affect our crops, as we have always had to import products and technologies from abroad to address these epidemics. The House of Representatives, to its credit, responded quickly to the President's call. Before that month was out, House Bill 9559, providing for the creation of the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines or VIP, had been created and passed unanimously. Similarly, attentive action by the Senate on the widely supported and completely uncontroversial measure would have ensured the proposed VIP's inclusion in the 2022 national budget, which would have potentially allowed it to become operational by next year. What happened instead, however, was exactly nothing. The Senate, in its inscrutable wisdom, set the measure aside while it focused on trivial matters such as debating the merits of e-sabong, passing a vape law that has been condemned by the government's very own health department as a threat to public health, and conducting endless, inconsequential hearings about alleged fraud in the purchase of pandemic supplies, instead of referring the cases to the proper agencies for investigation and filing of applicable charges. As a result, there is no provision for the VIP and no prospect of the Philippines being able to stop being at the mercy of overseas supply. At best, Congress may start over when it reconvenes at mid-year, and the VIP may be up and running by 2024 or 2025. That is not at all encouraging, particularly when viewed from the lens of a 2-year-old pandemic at the peak of its intensity. The DOST, for its part, has gamely promised to do what it can within its own budget and area of responsibility to create a scaled-down version of the VIP. In a media interview at the end of last month, DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña suggested that the facility could be created within the department's Industrial Technology Department Institute or the DOST ITDI, but admitted that is not really how we envision the VIP to be. How successful the DOST might be at this Plan B is made more uncertain by the administration's dubious decision to cut the department's 2022 budget by a total of 1.4 billion pesos from 2021. It should not be necessary to continually remind our senators that their lofty position as at-large representatives of the entire country demands that they prioritize matters with the greatest public interest, yet here we are. We can only hope that the consequences of their lack of vision, our continued difficulties in managing the coronavirus pandemic, as well as other familiar threats such as dengue and livestock diseases, focuses their attention and efforts appropriately. And for some of them, it will be up to the voters in the upcoming election to decide whether they'll even be given the chance. And that's the editorial for Thursday, January 20, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the Voice of the Times.